Hey, it's time for episode number 11 of That Marketing Show. My name is Matt Coffey. The show is brought to you by the Coffee Group. Just want to let you guys know that are out there, thank you for watching the video and commenting. We have some really exciting interviews getting lined up. I have some special guests that are going to be appearing. And I wanted to talk today about something that I ran into with a customer. And I think this might help you understand sort of what the challenge in a lot of the small business, mid-sized businesses that we run into in general that we find from a perception, reality, slash how to move customers through the process from an online perspective when they hit a website or they hit a property that's online. So we're going to talk today about recipes versus results. Okay? And what I really want to get to in this is I want to talk about how you position yourself and how you leverage the language within the copy of either your website or your sales copy. The challenge we're finding right now, this is a particular customer who I've just ran into over the last couple of days, who we've been trying to explain how copy works and how people perceive language. It's the power of words to drive people to make decisions. And it's very easy, or what I call it, the ego versus customer battle. Okay? The ego is the business owner or marketing owner of the company versus the customer. We run into this all the time, and I think this is a issue because when people think about their business, they think it typically from their own mindset. They don't necessarily take the consumer or not necessarily consumer, but client if it's a business-to-business operation. But the person who's buying the product or service, or the company that's buying the product or service, it's very hard to rationalize how the other party sits and how they think. So what happens is we have ego driving what should be posted to a website homepage or a landing page or a Facebook page or whatever property is out there. We run into the problem that people need to take the ego out of the strategy and think only as a customer. Okay? So recipes would be, I have the best recipes on the planet. They are great for health and wealth, and you will become a #1 fitness guy if you eat my 10, let's say, recipes. Doesn't sell. There's no result. The result is, these are the 20-pound weight loss recipes. Buy it now. Right? So that's what the customer or consumer wants. The #1 thing they want is the result. We're not selling a drill bit, we're selling a 3/4 inch hole, because the result is really what the intent of the whole process is. So you have to get behind what the consumer or client is thinking about as their result. So that's why when we have these discussions, ego versus customer or client, if it's a business to business, we need to think really about results. Okay? And I want to bring the results of what we consider simplification of what you're trying to get. Because what happens is that even though if we can reduce the ego and take the process of the concept of what you're trying to get to the customer or client out of it, there's also going to be a level of understanding how much a consumer or client can actually endure in a sales copy or a page or a web page. In this particular case with this customer we're dealing with this last couple of weeks, the main concern, and we try to explain as best we can, is that you cannot fill a web page up with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of lines of text about all the things you do, because honestly, people don't have the time to read in the small 7-second snapshot you may get if someone's on your web page. You have to bullet point your services out Let the consumer or client decide if they're the right pieces of information that they can now digest, and then move them along to the next step in the process. And I think we find so many times, time after time, when we go to a person's website or we go to a person's sales copy page, they're trying to blast their message with everything that they do in one shot. And that's why I said it's not necessarily even about the recipes and the ego. It's about results simplification. Simplification. Okay? So it's simplifying the results-driven sales copy on a landing page, a website, or any other sales copy. All right, last thing I want to just mention here. One of the hardest things, and I think this is the number one thing going forward, and I mentioned this in the last episode, it's authenticity versus perception. Okay? I think what's happening is that as the culture moves into the digital marketing space, and as the bigger brands go in their direction of trying to present their story, and the smaller brands and the smaller mid-size and smaller companies become more concerned with how they're going to contend with all of the noise and cutting across all the noise in this digital space, authenticity is going to be the only thing that's going to be able to really cut across, because uniqueness is really where people want to drive their business to. The reason why this is becoming more and more relevant is because we find a lot of customers are looking at perception, and the perception is, I need to look big. I need to be the big guy. I need to fight up against these other large multi-million-dollar or multi-billion-dollar companies that have this perception of looking big, and that's the only thing that counts. If I look big, if I don't have my home address on my website because I'm a construction worker person and I can't pretend I don't have an office. Honestly, that's all starting to disappear, because authenticity is becoming the new way to market. People want to hear your story. They want to hear a real person with a real story and a real result. So, driving authenticity into your marketing strategy is really where this whole market from a small and mid-sized businesses is starting to become more and more relevant. We always encourage people, make sure you have videos of you, your business owner, talking about the product. Become in a one-to-one relationship with your consumer or business client. The quicker you get to become a one-to-one relationship, the quicker you're going to be in front of those other large entities that you're really thinking you're battling. But that perception isn't true. The truth is, if you can drive results with simplification of your message that talks about what you do, not the recipe, but the result, you'll be able to have a much better strategy on converting your eyeballs to phone calls. Again, it's Matt Coffey with That Marketing Show, and we'll talk to you on the other side.